inviting me to this meeting. 2, for accepting this presentation, which hardly has a specific purpose. I'm not targeting about any specific feature or targeting about any case study that I have experienced that I wanted to share with you. I just wanted to say, what are your takeaways from here? What do you do after going home from this meeting? Next slide. Typical use cases you get in your day-to-day activities as a database administrator or a database engineer, whatever it is, you get something like this. I want to set up PostgreSQL on my on-premise environment. Can you help me with PostgreSQL configuration best practices? Or can you help me migrate my Oracle or a SQL Server databases to Postgres? I'm pushing my data from source PostgreSQL to destination using any ETL integration tool, and it is slow. Can you analyze the possibilities of using PG vector in our environment? And so on and forth. And even now, he was telling that they had a wide breadth of database technologies they had offer. And about 13 or 14 databases technologies our engineers already know. And still, if any new technology that is coming up, we will train and will. So, yeah. So, for a typical database engineer, it's hardly they get chance to work on all these technologies. One of my friends was telling, he was telling like, you should celebrate, if not every birthday, every alternate birthday in a different project or with a different team. The reason why he tells, during the initial days of his career, the reason why he tells is, the more projects you switch during the initial days of your career, the more expand your knowledge, the more diversity you will have in your technology. But there are few people that they hardly switch for XYZ reasons, whatever it is. For example, when I was working for TCS, I worked for a government project. They don't want their data to be there in cloud platform or any other. They want the database in their on-premise environment, in their own premises. If I work there for more than 5 or 6 years, I end up as a on-premise database engineer. And there are US clients, they want all new technologies to be there in their environment, whatever the cost may be. There is a new technology, there is some PG vector buzzing out, AI buzzing out, you put me in our database. No matter whether that is used or not, you put it in my database. So the more exposure you have, the more you learn. As I said, if I don't have exposure or if I don't want to come out of my comfort zone, what should I do? Next. You know him. He's Rajshekhar Mabidanna. He's a stand-up comedian and a Toastmasters. I was part of a Toastmasters. Toastmasters is a place where you learn communication skills. So in Toastmasters there is an section called impromptu speaking, where you are randomly called upon and you have to speak about it. Speak about any topic that you get for a minute. You'll get some 30 seconds to think about the topic. And he got a topic. He spoke about it for 1.5 minutes flawlessly with proper introduction and proper conclusion. Everything is well said. We rushed to him and asked, how could you articulate in such a nice way in 30 seconds? His reply was this. This topic was there in my mind for several years, and this is the time I got the opportunity to deliver it. In the same way, you might be working for some environment for some reason. Let us say, as I said, you are working for on-premise environment, you are working for on-premise databases. It doesn't mean you stick to there itself. Take some time out of your busy schedule and see what is happening outside world. By the end of the session, you will be knowing, I'm sure you will be knowing, how do you set up multi-master replication using PG logical or whatever it is. And how do you integrate your PG vector into your databases. How do you use your PG vector to get the data? You will be knowing a lot, many stuff. What you will do with them? Start exploring things. Next. So I'll talk about architecture, simple architecture, how I learned the database technology. Next. So before Postgres, see, Postgres is just a piece of additional software you put it in your computer, like any other application, your VLC player, your notepad, or whatever it is. It's a simple application. You have your table here, or for example, in this notepad, I have my text here. I'll double click on it, it will be fetched to my RAM. If I do some operation, there is a CPU involved. This is how a notepad works. You take any movie, let us say you have your favorite movie that will be sitting in your hard disk. You double click on it, it will come to your RAM, you can see it on your computer screen. If you want to watch a 4 GB high definition movie with only 2 GB RAM, what happens? You can still watch, but what your CPU does is, it brings first 2 GB of your movie into your RAM, it will play it for you, and then flushes it out, bring another 2 GB, play it for you. To avoid lagging, what you need to do? You have to ensure that there is a faster CPU. Or you need to ensure a bigger RAM. The same is applicable to your Postgres. Next. Yep, I'm doing a simple select program. There is a data here, select star from employee, it will be fetched to your RAM. There is a CPU involved. How many activities are happening here to here to your client? Second activity. Break down your things and see where exactly the problem is, or break down your learnings. Next, which is one of the asset properties. Our Postgres claims that we are RDBMS. RDBMS has to satisfy durability if you want to claim asset. What durability says is, whatever the situation, your data is safe in your transaction log. Next. So I'm updating something. There is an additional layer came in here, which will be logged it here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 here, and I do have n number of transaction logs, which says the more transaction you do, the more wall files it generate. Next. Has to be written to your data file. There is another process that is involved, your background writer, which writes the data from database buffer to data file. So coming back to the previous slide, can you go back? So two things here. My wall writer writing here to here, my background writer writing here to here. And there is a process called checkpointer which is confirming it. Next. Record latest available space in your wall file. Next. So when you can see, I've started at 72. That is the current position where I've started inserting data. I used some benchmarking tool to insert data. Then I crashed the system, and the recovery happened from the latest available invalid record length to starting point. Next. As I've shown you, so there are many steps involved. Break it down and pinpoint each and every step. Let us say there is a background writer writing information from my shared buffers to data file. Is there any way that I can control it? In my configuration file, I have 4 parameters that controlling it. Go to each and every parameter file and understand how it is controlling it. Change the value, try it again, change the value, try it again, change the value. Once it is done. As I said, when I'm bringing the data hard disk to RAM, there is a first step involved. Is there any disk related parameters available in my configuration file? Go tweak them. You will get instance. You can provision instance from any of the cloud platforms for free of cost. You have free tier eligibility credits. Get them. Go to your configuration file. Pick each and every section. First pick each and every section. Change, repeat. You have n number of tools available till now. I will learn now, I'll get back to you. No. Start your learning now itself. Maybe you may get a chance to work on it future. Next. I mean, this is how I captured, simple operating system tools. IO top for disk analysis, SAR and disk analysis, top for memory and CPU analysis, all that stuff. Next. 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 So yeah, as I said, so this is my installed machine which has two sections. One is my binary section, the other is my data directory section. Go to data directory section, find each and every folder, each and every file, open it, try to understand what is happening over there. There is some sub-transaction folder. My database is not writing anything into that folder. I thought like, why it is not writing anything into that folder, then why the data directory is here? Then I used online resources to understand why the folder is there, which process will write information to that, what happens if that file is gone. So these are the steps I tried to understand. I created a situation where it creates a file, then I deleted that file. Next. As I said, break it down. You see catalog view, you have n number of, a very big page, 50s of hundreds of catalog views, 50s of hundreds of dictionary views. I just break it down, see here, memory, activity. So these are the activity related catalog views. And memory, those are the memory related catalog views. Database, those are the database related catalog views. Have it aside. You just easily understand like what is happening at the time, on the spot. That is your PG this activity related things. So you wanted to know vacuum activity, what is happening at the current time. So this is like, so have these things handy. Break it down and understand easily. Next. So this is on the spot, this is catalog, system-wide views, information schema, what is happening with your table, column, grants, users, permissions, all these things. Everything there in your documentation, just go through it, break it down as per your, this is the way that I understood. You may be having different way of your understanding. Next, I think you will get this PDF. That is the section where you need to understand, where you need to go roadmap.sh, where it has everything related to Postgres. I think you must be knowing this awesome Postgres GitHub link. Like that will tell you what is happening in the Postgres community at point. I don't know about the latest updation modifications happening. I have seen a few days back. So it will list out you what are the extensions that are available, what are the derived products, PostgreSQL derived products are available, which companies are giving you PostgreSQL Database Administration services. So it will list out everything. Go there, try to understand each and everything. It will take time, maybe 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, probably. Next. So this is an excerpt from that link. So when you click on each and every stage, you will have a detailed description. Next. So this is the detailed description. I clicked on wall. What is wall? I got a detailed description about wall. So it has the different sections like installation. You do it in a Docker. People say, I want my Postgres in Kubernetes. I don't know what the Postgres in Kubernetes means. Try to understand. People say, I want my installation should happen through Terraform. I don't want any DB or whatever it is. I want it to be taken care by Terraform. I never worked on it, but I know something. There is a Terraform that does my work. Try it in your own environment. When time comes, you can tell, yes, I know it. Next. So these are various resources. I don't have any direct contact or indirect contact with them. No affiliation, nothing. These are the resources that I used learning Postgres. Might be helpful for you. Next, Harikiran also. Next. Yeah, a few books that I read, which I think are mandatory for anyone who is into PostgreSQL Database Administration. Again, you choose the required thing. If you want administration, go there. If you want SQL learning, go here. Next. I wanted to focus on high availability. All the high availability tools that are available right now. My client says, I want Petroni. The other client says, I want Rep Manager. And he asks you, find the difference between these two and let me know. So yeah, that book helps you. Cloud, application tuning, and OS database tuning. Next thing. networking. I think that was in 2019 where I was giving lightning talks on something like how do you manage a big data in PostgreSQL, and that was the last word I mentioned. My manager asked me, we are maintaining terabytes of data in our database, PostgreSQL, in 2019, how it is behaving. We have actually moved our Oracle to Postgres. And I said to my manager, it is working as expected. If it is not, you are there to help me to write that elephant. You means you all are. Next. And again, this thing, I don't know, go back. I don't know if I can, whenever in future, if I met Robert Haas, this is my token. I know you. Next. Yeah, conclusion. Go home, get your hands dirty with PG Logical. You will be knowing, I don't know, you might be knowing about PG Logical after this, after my talk. And go home, ask ChatGPT to write a Python code for a bulk insert or a batch insert. Someone says, bulk insert is slow, and the reply you get is, make it batches and run it, it will be faster. Or vice versa. I don't have bulk insert data. Ask ChatGPT, it will generate millions of records in a CSV format. Then you can insert in your favorite batch. I want 10,000 batch, I want 1 lakh batch, whatever it is, it will generate. Just simply ask it. You ask PG vector, you ask about PG vector, it will give you. You ask about application. If someone says my application is slow, because your network is slow. I don't know Java because I'm not a Java developer. I asked ChatGPT, write a program for me in Java that fetches SQL statement, that fetches some records. It gave me and it worked flawlessly, perfectly fine. Make use of the resources available. Questions?
All right. Any questions, folks? There are mics lying around on your desks. Feel free to pick up a mic and then, if nobody has any questions, I'll start with mine.
Okay, so lots of people have been working with other database technologies, and gradually as customers come, they tend to move towards Postgres. And in the recent examples like that we are seeing out there in the market, there is a huge push into Postgres. In the cloud, like Google is pushing, all the cloud vendors are pushing to move into Postgres. Now you need a crash course. Like, how does that engineer why the deal is getting signed if someone has to ramp up from other RDBMS into Postgres? What's the fastest way to do it? Or is there a way?
You want your engineer to be ready to maintain your PostgreSQL?
Yeah.
If you wanted to learn MS Word, let us say, you open your MS Word, you have a top section. You go to your file, it has some drop down. You go to your insert, it says you insert picture, you insert video, you insert this, you insert that. Go to each and every section and understand what each tool is doing there. That's it, that is your Word. No other book will tell you what is there outside that main window. In the same way, you just install Postgres, see what has come up for you. Then try to understand each and everything that is there. It's a simple step. Probably if you are maintaining any other database technologies, hardly takes about 15-20 days for you to understand Postgres.
So essentially we're saying like get your hands dirty.
Obviously,
that's
the only way to do that. See, yeah. I can tell, just now I gave you an example. I can simply tell, do cross-logical replication, that is your multi-master replication. Telling is easy. When you put your hands on it, you get n number of issues. That is where you start exploring.